This is the story of Anthony Burns, an escaped, then captured, and eventually freed slave whose struggle spread fervent anti-slavery sympathy throughout the North. You may not know his name, but you should know his story.
I'll be so glad when the sun goes down.
When the sun goes down.
I'll be so glad when the sun goes down.
When the sun goes down.
I ain't all that's sleepy, but I wanna lie down.
On their beds. Let the high praise of God be on the mouths of the saints and a two-edged sword in their hands to execute vengeance on the demonic nations and punishments on those peoples, to bind their kings with chains.
This is where Anthony Burns, a 17-year-old slave, preached to both whites and blacks in the congregation, which was against the law at the time. There are two doors here for a reason. One for whites who sat downstairs, and the other for blacks who had to sit upstairs. This was Fredericksburg's principal auction site for slaves during pre-Civil War times. Anthony Burns was born into slavery, but his parents or grandparents may have been sold on this very block. Anthony was hired out to work on the wharves of Richmond, where he befriended a sailor from Boston who helped him escape by ship. Here in Boston, Burns had freedom for a short time, but he was soon recaptured and held in the courthouse. A large, furious crowd gathered in front of Faneuil Hall to protest Burns' capture. The next day, they rioted and attacked the courthouse, trying to release Burns. Though most in Boston believed he should remain a free man, the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850 forced him to be sent back to Virginia to his master. On the day of Burns' departure, 50,000 people lined State Street in protest, while 1,500 police officers and military escorted Burns to the wharf. On his return to Virginia, Burns spent 4 months shackled to a wall in a damp prison cell. His master refused an offer by a Boston church to buy Anthony's freedom, but later did sell him to a Southern plantation owner, who in turn sold him to a church in Boston, finally giving Burns his freedom. After returning north, he became a preacher again, but because of his 4 months in a deplorable Richmond prison after the trial, he died of tuberculosis at the young age of 28. For his determination to be free, which inspired a generation of abolitionists, Anthony Burns is a hero of history.
Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom over me. And before slave, I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free.